I think in my time on TikTok, this has been one of the consistent questions that I always get. And it mostly falls along the lines of how do I know the MD-PhD is right for me, or whether I would personally recommend you go get an MD-PhD as well. As a disclaimer, I'm never going to tell you that you should or should not do something, you can or cannot do something. That is up to you to decide. But I do think there are kind of three questions that are important to consider as you think about whether or not the MD-PhD is right for you. The first of these questions is, why do you want it? And this will come up again and again when you do apply to MD-PhD programs. You have to say why you want the double degree, and you kind of have to justify why getting one or the other is not enough for what you want to accomplish. The second question is, what do you want to do your PhD in, and how does that fit in the context of your career trajectory, as well as, the answer to the first question I asked. And my last question is there any other way? If you ultimately want to work as a medical professor, and you ultimately want to teach medical students in lecture or in clinical work, then I would say you can get an MD and do that exact same thing. Now, if your goal is you want to run a lab and you want to mentor medical students in research, then maybe, yeah, like an MD PhD would be beneficial. I personally think these questions are really important to consider and just parse through, not just because you're going to have to address them in your personal statements and during the interviews, but also just that the MD-PhD degree program is such a long, long road, and research is a significant part of it. And so you should really, be aware of what you're getting into and make sure that the research aspect is truly synergistic with what you plan on doing.